welcome back. Today we have something a little ugly that we'd like to discuss with people. It's a little long, but you're going to learn something about the two major parties you've probably never heard before. Also, if you're in one of these, you might want to listen and then do some really hard thinking. You see, we've come to believe that our unions and non-union workers are being played for fools and forgotten by those who swore to protect their right to work. You know, the list of fights that the ALP has avoided is long. The worst, we believe, are the metadata laws. The ALP allowed that little horror show to go through with barely a whimper. Now, any government can, if they desire, sniff through organisational records, members lists, bank accounts, personal details. They don't even need to prosecute anybody. You won't even know about it, and they may just need to find a weakness to exploit when attacking you, your organisation or your workplace rights. But here's what's getting us really upset, the China free trade deal. How could the ALP have ever agreed to a deal that sells off the nation when we have over 800,000 people unemployed? They continue to permit 457 workers when we can't even find jobs, much less jobs for our kids who are starting out, and these ads are everywhere. It seems the only time we hear of our traditional values anymore is in the lead up to an election. And then after the voting's done, it all just fades away to beige empty words, forgotten promises and no action. Where's the vision gone? Where's the vision and supports for those that want opportunities, a chance to work and build, not sit home and put their hand out for government welfare? We are absolutely done with the ALP and their laying down, not only for all the above, but also because the ALP has some new mates who bother us an awful lot, especially ones like this bloke here.
He's one of Australia's top political donors.
If you want to rank him number one, probably you can.
But just who is the mysterious Mr. Huang?
Hi, I'm Dylan Welch from the ABC. How are you? Do you have someone who can...
For a man who arrived in Australia only 4 years ago, Huang Chanran has made big strides. Not just anyone gets to do this.
Mr. Huang Chanran to present a trophy to the winning owners to celebrate.
He paid for Trade Minister Andrew Robb to go to the races that day. And Robb is just one among his many political friends. It's no surprise he's got friends in high places. Since 2012, Huang and his company have donated just over $1.9 million to the Labor and Liberal parties.
It's poisonous, and that's not just my view. That's the view of many people on the street. They simply can't understand why a property developer, or anyone else for that matter, would make large-scale donations to a political party.
So I think that they're just why making friends to them, particularly making friends with politicians, to them is a very normal, legitimate thing.
Now, what we find even more disturbing about the ALP's new friends is their overwhelming generosity. And no doubt they're seeking nothing in return for all the cash that they've been donating to both major parties.
He came to Australia in 2011 and brought a $12.8 million home in one of Sydney's richest suburbs. Huang's company Youhu has made 18 donations to Labor and the Liberals, dropping as much as $200,000 at a time. Huang's wife, Jeff Fang, has also donated $100,000. A person sharing Huang's last name and his home address also donated $200,000. The donations were mainly given in the weeks around the 2013 federal election. Before the election, Youhu gave most of its money to Labor. After Abbott won, the money went overwhelmingly to the Liberals.
I think the AC records indicate that Youhu is a very significant donor to the major parties. In the 2013-2014 financial year, for example, Youhu made $685,000 in donations to the Liberal and the Labour Party, various branches of the major parties.
Under federal election law, it's an offence to make donations on someone else's behalf unless that's declared on your donor return. Huang's generosity appears to have inspired his staff, with 2 young employees making sizable donations. Anna Wu is a 25-year-old marketing manager with one of Huang's companies. Her LinkedIn profile says until late 2012, she was a barista at a Sydney chocolate bar. Last year, the day before the crucial West Australian Senate election, Wu donated $50,000 to the Liberals' WA branch. Zhao Kai-su is a 29-year-old Youhu office manager. In 2013 and 2014, he donated $130,000 to the New South Wales ALP. 7:30 asked Zhao Kai-su and Anna Wu to confirm the donations were on their behalf. Both declined to comment.
Now, that little list of donations may mean nothing to many people, but if you stop and think of the undertones present, I mean, do they really just hand this over without expectation? If you're being objective, there's no way this doesn't stink of paid-for promises made at the expense of Australian workers and their families. Now, before the 2013 election, there were massive amounts of cash paid out, and these same party donors were also doing favours for MPs.
Huang has developed particularly close relationships with 2 former heads of the ALP in New South Wales.
It sounds like...
As New South Wales General Secretary, Sam Dastyari nurtured the ALP's relationship with Huang. At last year's launch of the Australia Guangdong Chamber of Commerce, Dastyari was effusive.
The demonstration, Mr. Wong, of how highly you're respected, how much all of us respect you and the work you do.
3 weeks later, he declared Huang's company had paid a legal bill that Dastyari incurred as part of his role as New South Wales General Secretary. The bill was in the area of $40,000.
It would be fair to say that my time in this parliament has been a bit of a roller coaster ride.
When former New South Wales Treasurer Eric Roosendahl left Parliament in 2013, hounded by corruption allegations, he was a man in need of a job. He found one with Mr. Huang and Youhu.
I don't think it would surprise anyone that he went there, put it that way. Mr. Roosendahl, in my view, had a very significant impact on the culture of the New South Wales Labor Party when he was General Secretary. He was a very effective fundraiser. Then
there's the mysterious Mr. Wang, a Chinese businessman who dropped $850,000 into the ALP's bank, and he can't even be identified, and nobody seems to know where he lives or what he does. So that seems really legitimate, doesn't it? There's also $635,000 from Kingold, a property development company owned by Mr. Wing. Now, Mr. Wing is also reported as having poured millions of dollars into the coffers of both major parties pre-election. Then there's $260,000 from the Australian Chinese Business Elite Awards, and these amounts are actually on the AEC donor list. Now, all around Australia, workers and their families sit and wonder what could be making it almost impossible to afford a home in their own country. What's making it so difficult to obtain work to the point that 800,000 people now have none? Well, we're not wondering anymore. We're pretty sure we've solved this mystery. Our country's up for sale, people, and it's going to be sold off under deals like the China Free Trade Agreement and the TPP. And the ALP, the protectors of the people, have been absolutely nowhere on any of this. And silence gives consent, does it not? Now, based on what we've shown you, it seems if the money's good enough, both major parties can and will sell Australian jobs, farmland, industries and our family's future out to benefit foreign owners instead of protecting and supporting us. And what did both these parties have to say when asked about all this burgeoning money falling from the sky?
7:30 approached Sam Dastyari, Eric Roosendahl, almost a dozen federal politicians and several Labor and Liberal Party executives for this story. Not one was willing to go on camera and discuss the billionaire property developer.
Now honestly, if you've had enough of hearing stories like this, of seeing things like this, then click the link at the end of this video, join the Labor coalition and help us fight to regain control of our own country for us and our future, because it's time that any party that plays Judas to the Australian people was shoved out the door. If you made it this far, thank you for watching.